Recording. Okay.
You started it with recording?
I did. I said the word recording because I'm a professional. Um,
We're famous now.
Yay! Okay. Today's essay is by what's their face?
Diane
Diane
Musho
Musho
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Yes, it's called Big Heart. Um, let's begin. So, uh, I like how in the essays in this full book, and since this is the first recording, I'll mention we are reading Radical Compassion. It's a compilation of essays that
About compassion.
about compassion, shockingly enough.
Oh, should we introduce ourselves?
We can. Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Why not?
I'm Des. I do the technology and I make people read books.
Yay,
I'm
Des.
S- I'm Silent Gong. I'm just kind of here, and
Uh,
sometimes I read.
I'm Ikaria. Hello.
Kari will
Okay.
also be referred to as Sam occasionally.
Oh, that's true. I don't know.
I can not call you Sam if you would prefer.
Oh, I don't care.
It's it's been recorded. It's too late now.
It's too late. Everybody
Mm.
knows.
So this essay.
Yes, this essay. So, as you pointed out earlier, the first word is Jerry,
It sure is.
which is a deep insight into an essay if I've ever seen one. So let's start out with a little quaint little anecdote, if you will. I thought so. I'm fascinated that somebody else has used this phrase "friendship fatigue."
Huh.
Um, I think that that's something that's really interesting because I have felt it.
Yeah.
And I think that at least when I first started like researching Buddhism and meditation and all of this, I felt really guilty when I had any kind of negative emotion. And so yeah, it's I like the humanizing moments in many of these essays is what I'm saying, I suppose.
Well, I mean, it's a good reminder that the point of Buddhism is not to become perfect, but to work with imperfection.
Ooh.
Did I just say something dope? I can't tell.
I don't know.
Um let's see. The point of her anecdote about her difficulty getting back in touch with her friend and this fatigue of their estrangement from each other.
Yeah.
What is the point of it?
It kind of seemed like ultimately, like she surrendered to the moment
Mm,
once they were all together, and like realized that like compassion in that moment kind of overcame all of the distance between them and mattered more than like her initial frustrations and anxieties with these friends.
yeah, there's the one sentence like, by now my anxiety was gone and I was in a mood of complete aesthetic enjoyment.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think overall the story was like just being open to the moment and like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, compassion in that moment, I guess. Yeah, I didn't really know what to make of the first part of this whole essay. I was just like,
Yeah.
okay,
That's a cute
little
little
personal
anecdote.
story.
I feel like I know you better, Diane. Then we get into the author's summary of compassion. And then small compassion, which I think is interesting. I like that the author spends some time like defining different things before jumping in on their big idea.
Yeah.
Why do we suffer or have to witness the suffering of people we love? Good question.
I think asking why is in itself a misunderstanding.
Elaborate.
Well, to say things like, why are we born or why do we suffer, that supposes that there's a reason or an intention.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, why we suffer is because we live in delusions, but, like, the other reason is just because that's the nature of living.
Mm-hmm.
There isn't really a why.
Sorry for the loud door.
How dare you?
I didn't want to be noisy outside.
How dare. I personally am offended.
Good.
All right then.
I
So,
slowly make my way.
Diane starts to use some interesting big concepts at the end of the compassion summary, which is great heart, big heart. I like, I see this a lot as where you use capital letter at the beginning of otherwise normal word. That's to tell you it's different. Which I get, but at the same time I think is amusing because I'm odd like that. Inevitably, our relationships will fail us, and our communications will become disastrous, and our negotiations will break down. So at those times, we have to surrender to Great Heart, which sounds like a knight or like a superhero on a quest.
Yeah, the great heart of what is.
I like down in the small compassion header area. Often in the face of someone else's pain, our compassion is mixed with pity or distress, and we offer comfort to make ourselves feel better. I think people don't often want to think about the aspect of that aspect of compassion, I suppose, where you are doing something not just for their benefit, but for your own.
Yeah. Like, I think a lot of times when people are suffering, it's, like, very easy for us to, like, as individuals to feel discomfort. And so then a lot of times, like, our, like, offerings of, sympathy
Mm-hmm.
or, like, I don't know, other gestures end up being, like, almost not always more for our own benefit to ease that discomfort, but, like, there's an element of that to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Words.
Words.
they're definitely tainted, so to speak, with selfishness, even though there is a genuine desire to alleviate the suffering in the people that we're with, because the reason we're uncomfortable is because we see that they're uncomfortable, so we know there's an issue there, but we also know that their issue is something that we're having an issue with. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
small compassion, trying to alleviate both my discomfort and your suffering. But, like, would that still occur if your suffering didn't make me uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm. Uh, the line at the end of this paragraph: "We dutifully add compassionate acts to our to-do list." Amuses me, but I agree. Um, it's such a weird thing to think about if or what is kind of inherently in us versus as this person put it, that's what our parents taught us was to be compassionate. Um, but then the next line being the cool thing about real compassion is that if this is indeed our motivation, we can be compassionate towards ourselves about that.
Yeah. We can, like, accept that we have this, like, impulse
Yeah.
without, like, being too harsh on ourselves, because I think it is a very kind of human thing
Mhm.
to, like, when someone suffers, also feel distress from that. So
Yeah.
The whole
But,
misery loves company thing.
right, and as Max said earlier, I think, what did you say? Hold on. Thinking. The point of Buddhism isn't necessarily like perfection.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
The
Hold on.
point isn't to become perfect, it's to work with the imperfect.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Thank you.
Well said.
So, yeah, then it says, the compassion that arises from our meditation practice is different. It stems from our willingness to see things as they are, rather than as we would like them to be. Instead of being conjured up and dutifully delivered, it rises from the direct truth of circumstances as naturally as mist from a grassy plain in the new light of morning.
So fancy.
Fancy, fancy.
From the Buddhist point of view, compassion arises free of references to the small self. Interesting. Good talk, guys.
You're the one leading it, son.
I am merely a facilitator of discussion. I am not here to lecture you guys.
That's true.
If I were here to lecture, I'd put you both on mute and, and I would just start talking. I wouldn't bother with the voice chat. I'd probably just record it and send you a link to the video. So without sustaining this practice of the compassion, I think, and learning to remove the sense of your little self from your worldview, for the big compassion that I think that this essay begins to go towards. As it says, we habitually contract and defend against pain. So you get defensive, you get flighty and fighty. And then Diane gets back into her, I'm going to capitalize otherwise average words, like big mind and big heart, which is the title of the essay.
Big mind is actually used quite frequently in Buddhism.
That's good.
Nice. I did not realize this.
Neither did I. What kind of instructors are we? Horrible. That's what. No, we're fine.
We're compassionate
all
with
that
ourselves. That's what we are.
Yeah, we're supposed
Yeah.
to be compassionate with ourselves.
So I don't know that I fully understood like the differentiation between big mind and big heart as they were used in this article.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay. Think of big mind as like right view,
okay.
whereas big heart is right effort.
All right.
So with big heart, like big mind is recognizing things like suffering, recognizing emptiness, impermanence, all of that. Big
Yeah.
heart is the willingness, the ability to surrender and accept the way you feel, despite knowing, say, that suffering is an illusion. If you feel suffering, if you feel pain, big heart is saying, well, here it is anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay. And just
Okay.
fully living in that.
Well, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, the deep acceptance of things as they are.
Yeah. Fancy. So the essay goes into this little quote about an exhausted turtle and a sick bird, and you can do the helpful action. And I really liked the sentence after it, which was, "Our hands become willing vehicles of these actions, but we don't call them mine. They belong to compassion itself."
Oh yeah. That's that doing without a doer type stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do without doers. Yeah.
Yeah.
um so then I like all of those ideas, and I feel familiar with them, I guess. I feel I have encountered them before.
Encountered what particular?
Um the effort of working towards not claiming my actions when they are bred of something like compassion.
I like compassion bread.
I
The
would also
tastiest
like
bread.
some. It is the best bread, in fact.
Yeah, three sentences after that. The distinction between serving and being served blurs. I think that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
Because if we keep that distinction, and if we say, I am the healer, and you are the healee, or whoever, patient, you keep
The heel of the
a
bread.
sense of separation, a sense of ego meeting ego.
Yeah.
And that's always going to limit the compassion, because in that kind of state, you might be prone to saying or thinking, I have healed you, and now you owe me a debt or something.
Yeah.
You know, but if you don't know if you're being served or serving, how can you possibly make any demands on anyone? You just let it be what it is, and that's good enough.
Right. Deep, bro.
Good. Yes.
We're all very agreeable.
I am very low energy today.
I don't have
unfortunately.
I don't have anything contradictory to say to that. You want me to fight you on it?
Yeah. Yeah, let's do some jujitsu at each other.
Well, you're wrong.
That's not jujitsu.
Unfortunately, I'm more like a freight train than I am a elegant helicopter of any sort.
An elegant helicopter?
Are
Hold
you
on.
saying that I'm an elegant helicopter?
No, no. You're more like a yacht.
Fuck.
Wow.
I didn't
Can't
mean to
tell if this is
swear.
high praise or like a pointed insult.
I guess I'm a luxury vehicle.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, those little like buggies for like driving over like sand dunes. I want to be one of those.
Oh wow.
This is very off
So then
topic.
in my analogy, like if you cross my tracks at the wrong time, I can smash the heck out of you. Unfortunately, I'm not capable of chasing you down the road.
Yeah.
I can't be on roads at all, I guess.
But you also can't be hit by trains.
That's true.
Book club.
And
We're
I
a
won't
very
run into any
serious
deer.
book club.
This has
Welcome
become
to
vehicle
book
metaphor time.
club.
Shall we use our metaphors to discuss hurt, disappointment, and grief?
Yes.
I don't know if we can bring the metaphors with us, but we can go
Well,
into hurt,
So like a
disappointment, and grief.
moped.
We
Oh,
can
God.
leave the metaphors behind.
So like a moped, being hurt is just like wishing you were a motorcycle.
But you're just a moped? No, that's disappointment.
And now,
Alright.
But then you have to learn to accept that you're a moped and that some nerd will drive you around town.
You make some nerd very happy someday.
Do.
Okay.
Let's see. Did I
Censoring
have any
myself.
thoughts on this
I'm
first bit?
focused. Yes, what?
I'm trying to think if I have any thoughts on this first paragraph of this section.
Think your thoughts.
I will try. We might as well get used to it. Short of living on permanent retreat alone, we are bound to experience difficult feelings in relationships. So, yeah, suffering is unavoidable,
Crap happens.
basically,
Good
is what this
suffering.
paragraph is about.
But it's also talking about, like, the convincing nature of our experience.
Yeah.
The immediacy of it.
Yeah.
And that
And how when we feel these feelings, like it's we tend to get this idea that we'll never feel better again. That
Yeah.
we won't ever stop.
Right.
Right.
So
When we are held captive, as this says,
yeah.
we can work with them by giving in to them instead of resisting or bypassing them.
I don't like the wording of giving in,
No, I don't
but
either.
I know what they're talking about. It's just
Well, I mean, people often use the term surrender,
Right.
like surrendering to your feelings.
See, because
And
giving
I
in.
think a lot of times they mean like sitting with them and experiencing them, but I feel like it has a weird connotation. So yeah,
Right, you can definitely translate that as saying, dive into them and, let them control you in a reactive fit.
right. In my mind, that is surrendering to your emotions. If you just get totally overwhelmed by them, such that you stop being in control of your own responses.
Right.
So to me, the wording is a little weird, but I understand that's not their intention with this phrasing. So it's just something to keep in mind, I think.
Yeah. One, I think where, he might, where they might be coming from though is those individuals who don't have the necessary skills to not be so overrun that they destroy themselves. Either in a real or, metaphorical sense. What comes to my mind is drug addicts and those who choose to take their lives in their lives.
Yeah. See, the surrendering to that sort of pattern isn't what's being spoken of here.
Yeah.
Right.
But finding that nuance, even more than just an intellectual understanding, like being able to practice it, isn't something you can do just because someone said, "Hey, this is possible."
Yeah.
You know.
So to me, this whole paragraph here read as kind of discussing there's a lot of people who will just bottle up all of their feelings and never look at them, never address them, never really let themselves stop and cry or feel them. So in this instance, I felt like that is kind of who was being talked to, as far as needing to let that out and just surrender to it and feel what you're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely feel like maybe more, I guess, more careful language or more precise language could have been used, but ultimately
Words are hard, y'all.
words.
Words.
Yeah, words are hard.
Words.
So
Words.
I did a little further down, but before we can give in, let go, and relinquish to the wisdom of the body, we must drop the cherished stories running through our minds. So first I liked the idea of like the wisdom of the body and like, knowing when we're like upset or overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
And that we need to like, listen to it and feel what we're feeling. That often like, after you cry, you get this like sense of calm
Mm-hmm.
because you've like released that. Um, so I like that phrase, and then just the reminder that like, a lot of times when we have or hurting, we not only are we experiencing that hurt, how of like
Oh,
what the hurt is and
you're getting all
what it
robot-y.
means and how it'll
Robot
far-reaching
Sam.
effects and it'll never end. Like, and to really like get past the hurt,
Mm-hmm.
like we need to drop those stories. So yeah.
You became a robot halfway in.
Oh,
It's okay.
oops.
I think we heard most of it.
Yeah.
But yes, I agree.
Woo.
Woo! Ah. I'm
All
not in the
right.
kitchen.
What?
Nothing.
All right.
Yeah. So this whole essay is primarily focused on, look, you have feelings. It's okay to have feelings. Feel your feelings, and then move on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, as I said, I think that would have been really important for me to hear at the start of my practice.
Yeah.
That would have been something I probably should have heard. There was a time I beat myself up for having too many feelings.
Yeah.
Well, maybe someone who needs to hear it will hear it through us.
That'd be sweet.
Not magic.
Assuming anyone ever listens to this.
Who knows? I don't.
Yeah, who knows? If they do, I'm sure they will have a time.
Yeah.
A time.
A time.
Watch one of us get famous and this gets like dug up in the archives of a deep dive.
Don't. That would be terrible.
I.
So yeah, that's the like article with all of this list of
I will tell you, it is
Steps, I
uniquely
guess.
standing out in the book of the compilation so far as ending with a list of
Yeah.
steps to do that you don't see in any of the other essays.
Well, and I think it was also just like with, especially having started with like an anecdote like it did, it was more conversational in some ways. Like
yeah.
it felt less like this is like, a very serious researched essay about compassion, and more of like, hey,
Yeah, it was more of like, this is
here are my thoughts on compassion.
here are my thoughts.
So
So I wrote an essay. Here you go. Yeah. Compassionate feeling. Step 1. When you are overcome by a strong emotion, practice surrendering to it. Step 2. Take a comfortable physical posture and allow yourself to feel the texture of the sensations. I like the
that's
idea
like
of
a
sensations
grounding
having
exercise.
texture. Yeah, it does sound like a grounding exercise. Step 3. Notice any resistance to feeling and meet it with an even breath. Step 4. Notice what stories you are telling yourself. Suspend all stories about the pain and instead just feel. Step 5. When precisely does it hurt?
Is this the feel you want to deliver? Is your intonation itself a lesson?
Yeah.
It's a lesson in expectations.
There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah. I'm trying to rip them apart. This is why I'm here, man. It was a pretty short essay.
It was.
Was pretty short. I feel like we probably could have done 2 this week, but who knows how long the next one will be. So
So in a perfect world, I would read the book completely before starting a book club session on it. But
yeah,
I don't have time for that.
right. I always think I'll read the book like in its entirety first, and then I never do. And then if I do happen to do it, which is very, very rare, by the time the discussions happen, I've completely forgotten. Because I've already read the book. I'm not going to go back and refresh. That would be absurd.
Who would refresh for a meeting to discuss something? That's ridiculous. All right. I'm going to stop the recording. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.